Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Right, today I'm going to have a look at the lovemachine CHEET. It is a mini mid elliptical kind of eggy board that makes softer waves, UK, fun and easy. A great board for someone who's looking for something to make life easy in smaller, weaker waves, but doesn't quite want the added rail lengths of a mid-length, or maybe they're not ready for a mid-length yet, or maybe they want to be a bit more free and fluid on the face of the wave. Now you have quite a lot of parallelity here. It drops down into the nice soft thumbtail with a little bit of hip just to keep some pivot in the outline, and you've obviously got the forward wide point, which keeps the nose a little bit wider, which couples with the deckline really nicely to keep a really stable platform. And obviously you've got shorter rail line board, so something that you might surf 4 or 5 inches shorter than your mid length, and then it's a little bit wider, so it keeps it a bit more rounded and elliptical. So it's just something that's equal amounts of fluid and stable, but manipulatable. I don't know if that's a word. When you get onto the deckline, something that is quite popular with a lot of Ryan's boards is he puts a flatter deck in and then tapers the rail off with a little chine. It's a classic version of that, again with the CHEET. So you maintain lots of foam, especially up here, so it's a very stable platform, paddles extremely well, but it drops down into a lower profile rail. Now, instead of being a sort of knifey, pinchy rail, it's a bit more eggy and dome. You can push it a little bit harder, it's going to give a little bit more resistance and also keep it kind of free and releasey, which is brilliant for slower pace waves. Something that will hold on a carve, just makes it kind of fun when, yeah, the waves aren't giving you the section you're longing for, but there's a running wall. Well, this is the sort of board that you're just going to be able to chuck about, do some cutbacks and fling it into the lip and that sort of thing on a softer pace wave. So the bottom shape, now I almost don't know where to start, but I love this. I love this bottom shape. So starts with a single entry. You couple that with the rocker, which is relatively flat through your stance, but is lifted through the entry just to add to that looseness, and key part is to bring in that lift early doors. So you've got a slower pace wave, you need some air under your board to keep it lively, and then you need some rocker and some curve to keep it really fluid and maneuverable. So that's why you'll see this setup on the CHEET, and I just think that's just a brilliant bit of surfboard design there from Ryan. So you start with the single, it comes into what he would call a triple, I'll explain in a minute. Then it goes into a quad, again, bear with, and then it drops down through the fins into a bit of spiral V, which ends up with a bit of V out the back of the box, which just gives you some roll on the back foot. Just again, you know, we're maintaining mainly the usage as a 2+1 fin setup on this board, so you can see why you'll keep the V in the back just to keep it that natural 2+1 sort of pivot, a more classic feel. So quads and triples and what's going on? Right, he's put a single concave in the rail from here to here. I don't know if me wiggling that about is doing anything for the camera. Now, that's basically creating a concave on the rail, again for lift, and concave through into the center of the board, again for lift. So if you think about it like this, less board touching the water is less resistance, which means that you can go faster. And if you can go faster, the board is more maneuverable. And if there is air under the board, it adds to the lift of the board, which again adds to the maneuverability. So this board's all about that lift. So these concaves are designed to turn this elliptical kind of egg-like shape into something smaller when you're surfing it on rail and out of the pocket. Mainly kind of like 2+1s, bonds of runners, little small side fins, so like a single fin with stabilizers kind of vibe. But if you want to get super fruity, I got nothing against you whacking some twins in this, keeping it loose, keeping it free, really skatey, and just having a lot of fun. That's up to you, but the 2+1 is the standard set. But what I'll tell you is either way, you've got a little demon of a board for softer waves. Doesn't have to be necessarily small. I'd say this will still go in fairly chunky surf, especially if you put the 2+1 in for a bit of hold and pivot off that back fin. But you're going to get mid-length like benefits with that shorter rail line. So I think it's really key for someone who is, I've got friends like this, they kind of don't want to go to that mid-length vibe, but they also know their shortboard's not giving them a load of love in average conditions. It's that kind of in between board. So, you know, I'm thinking you're riding this board, well, the sizes we've got available are 6'4", 6'8", and 6'10". That's probably going to fit everyone looking for this board. You go kind of 6'4" if you're a sort of short boarder, and you go to them higher lengths if you're dropping down off like 7/6s and mid lengths, if that makes sense. So it's a mini mid. It's a stable board. It's a fast board, it's very fluid and maneuverable, and it's designed to maximize your fun in weaker waves, which is perfect for the UK. That is the CHEET model by lovemachine. Now, if you want any more reviews on the lovemachine boards, just drop a comment down below. Let us know which ones you want to talk about next, and like, subscribe. Welcome to the new studio, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.
Quick question, keep going. What level? Who's it specifically for in Sellerton?
I just did that, didn't I?
Kinda. Like, I guess like sort of, you kind of projected the wave range. Like, cause
no, wasn't I saying that the guy who was looking for, like isn't quite ready for a mid-length, but wants to...
Yeah, I thought that was more like a personal choice of what wave they wanted to surf, like kind of as opposed to, because I guess like, it's not beginnable, but it's kind of like anybody that's going to be coming through that, do you know what I mean? Because it's like a kind of egg, it's got volume, sort of like...
So, if you look, I've definitely said this, I've said the person. So, the person looking for this board is someone who's looking for fun, easy, fluid feelings with some forgiveness in smaller pace waves, smaller, weaker waves, and they might not want to jump on a mid-length to do so, but they know the shortboard's not showing them any love. Blah, 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 blah.
But I guess what some people will be identifying whether they think they're a beginner or whether they're intermediate. So it was more that kind of pitch. So like...
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So anyone can really... Key points with the CHEET. Easy to catch waves, very stable. The key points to the CHEET are that it catches and picks up waves really, really easy and has lots of lift. That lift gives you fluidity straight away. So you don't have to be a brilliant surfer to start getting this moving. It's doing it for you already, keeps it loose and keeps it lively. So in terms of a range of surfer, anyone can jump on the CHEET, from intermediate to advanced surfers. Anyone who wants to keep that board on rail and wiggling and moving in the pocket. I hope that makes it clear.